Main campus, Wednesday group, which is group 6. We have done our mop-up. I've started our recording. Okay, done our mop-up for Unit 1. Done quite substantive portions of Unit 2 already. We are working slowly. We repeated substantively the Unit 1 last week. Okay, that's what we, because the earlier unit was part of the orientation session, had in person on Saturday. So week 1 would have been a Saturday one. And that is how it should be. But we used the week 2 meeting for my groups to substantively engage the Unit 1 again, and then help you clear up all, knots that you may have, I think. And then started the Unit 2. And then this week, we are going to finish up the whole of Unit 2, mop it up nicely, and then even start off with a good part of Unit 3. So we are asking questions. What's the difference between connotation and denotation? Let's take Rosemary Sapon. Rosie, go ahead. Sapoma,
Doctor, please. Connotation is the meaning of the word, and denotation is and denotation is what identifies the meaning. What the meaning identifies to.
So specific examples that the meaning leads you to. When you mention example, you have captured denotation. When you say specific examples, you have captured denotation. Okay, so that is well said and well done. Now, what are the types of definitions? The types. I see. Can you mention any of the types of definitions? When we finish mentioning all, then someone, one person each will explain them briefly. You see, briefly. What I'm doing is just mopping up. So as you revise, those who haven't heard it, maybe they just came in or what have you, will now be hearing it, but they will also benefit. Okay. So Princess Bedu, go ahead.
We have 6 types of definitions.
Yes, please.
And one is lexical definition.
Papa, lexical. Hey, sister, do you do English? Okay, very good. How would you define lexical definition to our ABBA-Fresh members here?
Actually, lexical definition is a definition offered by a dictionary.
That's all. That is all. No stress. Well done. So just in case, why are you laughing? Recess. No stress, Charlie. Pressure no loss. There's nothing to worry our heads over in this lab. Yeah. Okay. One day at a time. Okay, that's all. So be at peace. So she's right, and I'm saying that suppose I asked in an exam or in a test or something that why would we reference a lexical definition or prefer a lexical definition to, let's say, a stipulative definition when addressing a general audience? You should be able to think around that, and respond. And it is in your response that we will know that you know lexical definition, and you know stipulative definition, and you know when to use which one of them and why. You see, so one question can be about 4 levels of difficulty. Okay, and then we are able to test that. So think around a question like that. Why would it be more appropriate to use, say, a stipulative definition over a lexical definition in so and so and so context? Okay, then you are able to explain. So well done, Princess Bedu. Princess says lexical is dictionary. Let's take, you are welcome, Kelvin Aqua. Give us another type and explain. Those who are now coming in, you see, your friends are the ones teaching. I have not said anything since I came. They know stuff. Go ahead, Kelvin.
Madam, stipulative definition.
Yeah, very good. What does it say? Explain it to us.
These definitions are those which specify or they stipulate a word of phrase.
You are explaining stipulation. I said they stipulate. So your colleagues will accuse you of a certain error in defining. A certain error that one commits when he or she is defining a word, giving meaning to a word, but he uses the very word to define that word. But thank you for the effort. When we get to problems of diagnosing definitions, we'll come and reference Kelvin Aqua's example with no hard feelings. We just want to laugh. That's all. Okay, so Kelvin, we are on your top today. Very good. So stipulative definition is another one. It is a definition that is agreed to by what? Members. So the meaning is not what will be generally used by every other one person that uses that same word. You pick the word and then you and others that agree to it, okay, you stipulate, you agree, use it that way. But the word may have its own meaning. And that's why we say it's a definition agreed to by users. And it doesn't have academic backing because theoretical definitions are also used by those who want to use it, okay, except that theoretical has academic backing, has academic backing. So it's institutionalized, okay, or it has an academic discipline behind it. That's the difference. But stipulative, it could be between you and I. We decide to call water hot alcohol. So when we say, Madam, try me 2 bottles of cold ice water. Madam, please give me 2 bottles of cold ice water. You are all sitting there. You know what water is. But the woman will bring me something, and you all think I'm drinking water. And between myself and the woman and the few of us or the many of us who use that word, we mean something else. Okay. So charge, choke, osmosis. I referenced all that last week. Osmosis has a meaning in general usage, lexically. Okay, and even to an extent theoretically, but it is captured in the lexicon. We already told you that definitions have what overlaps. Let me just I didn't want to scroll through the slides, but it looks like the class is prepared, and I'm very impressed. So we move on and then take it from there. Well done. This is for those who just perhaps joined us or descended from another group or something. That is definitions on your screen, the connotation and the denotation. Okay. So you see that there, every word, every definition connotes something and denotes something. Or better still, every word connotes something and denotes something. What a word connotes may be several things, like what we see on our screen. We said all that. So a chair may connote furniture we sit on. It may also connote the head of an institution. That simply means it may mean, a chair may mean all these. Okay. So if you see that, then you know connotation. And Madame told us that based on what it connotes, you are able to detect the particular examples, which are what it denotes. So we learned that last week beautifully. We knew that if we say the chair, Nate, just win. Please keep it muted. I nearly disabled your mic, but I've seen that you've done it yourself. Okay? I won't warn anyone again. If you talk, please. You will know Solomon, Kwame. My last warning to you. If it's not muted, I will disable your mic. Okay? Mute, quick. Solo, I'm waiting. Mute it. Press the microphone so that it goes off. Very good. And keep it like that. Well done. Sometimes we forget. So once in a while, I see that I mute all. I don't disable the mic. I just mute all, but people still on mute. That's what I don't want you to do. Okay. All right. So I was saying that on our screen now, based on what the word connotes, the meaning, you are then able to know the particular examples it points us to, which is what? It's denotation. The denotation is, so you can sit on the denotation of a chair, for example, but you can't sit on the connotation of a chair. Why? Because the denotation is a particular example of it. Okay, and so on. A pen, let's say we define pen as a writing tool. Of course, that would be very broad, a definition. But if I defined a pen as a writing tool, then it means that the blue pen you are holding will be an example of a pen. That will mean that it will be an example of, or a denotation of a pen. Okay. Of course, I've said that such a definition is too broad. I'm already giving you inklings. You know, of what we are going to do when we say too broad, too narrow, secular or big. You have to be reading ahead too, okay? If you get, like if I engage Monday group and I've shared their link and they share it on a platform or something, and see it, it's the same content you're going to do, really. So it's in your interest if you did engage those content before you come to your class. Then when you come, you are only revising invariably, okay, because you have met the same content, especially if it even is the same instructor or the same topic. It helps, but you still come for yours so that you get the build up very well. Okay. So I said we have discussed extensively on that. This would be a very good example of a broad definition. A pen is a writing tool. Okay, but we'll see in a minute. At this stage, what we are doing is to show you connotation and denotation, remind you really. Now, so you know connotation, you know denotation, you can give examples, you know why it is important to have that lesson for connotation and denotation because of the possible equivocation that can arise. And so I want to take a reading on, last week, did we do equivocation, please? Someone tell me. I teach about
No, please.
10 different, we didn't, very good. But we did up to connotation and denotation and skipped it and the types of definitions and what have you. So I'm going to go through connotation. I want to read that. Opoku Enoch, you can read for me, please. Unmute your mic and read what you see on the screen. Enoch, is that your background?
No, please, madam.
Go ahead then, read. I'll find the person and mute and disable his or her mic. Go ahead.
Detecting equivocation.
Yes, sir.
If more than one connotation of a word is used in the same context without any signal of the shift, with the intention to manipulate or to persuade the speaker, is accused of committing equivocation.
Very good. Just a minute. Very good. Okay. So you are using the different connotations of one word in the same context. I like to add this one that I'm going to say, which is not in the slide. You're using the same, the different connotations of one word in the same context, as if they mean the same, without any signal of the shift. You use the different meanings of that same word in the same context, and you use it as if the two different meanings are the same. They are all the same in that context, you see. So different meanings of that same word, but you use them interchangeably. You oscillate, there's a word for that. You swing from here to here. Because the word is the same, whenever you repeat it, you make it look as if you are talking about the same meaning of that word, when in fact you have shifted from one of its meanings to another of its meanings. But you do that suggesting that it is the same word, so you are speaking about the same subject matter. The word may be the same, but whenever you repeated it, you used a different connotation of it, making your argument look fine to impress us, persuasion, or making the other person's argument look bad, manipulative. Sometimes that is not your intention, but you are doing it. You see, when you push someone to fall down, you didn't intend to push, but you push the person to fall down. Don't say I didn't intend to. You have pushed the person. See, so whether the intention is there or not, you have used different connotations of that same word in the same context, suggestive of what the same meaning. When that is not the case, we will accuse you of being equivocal. You are equivocating. Equi means equal, vocation, vocabulary. So you are using the word as if they mean the same. The meanings are the same in the context, but it is not the case. Okay, it helps to give an example to show equivocation. So the same example I've repeated over. Nana, just disabled your mic. The same example. So I tell you so that you don't try to unmute it. When you try to unmute, nothing will happen. It won't unmute, and it's not because of any problem with your gadget. Don't get worked up. You have been disabled. Because I said keep your thing muted. Keep it muted, please. I hear train is very obstructive. Okay. Yeah. Opoku's own is unmuted. We don't hear anything. So I won't come and disable. But when I hear tweet, then I'm forced to disable every mic, including those that perhaps were not the source of the noise. So better to keep your thing muted. All right. So I was saying that, for example, you want a job, then there's a job advert that says, we are looking for a responsible person to take up this job. That's what the company says. We are looking for a responsible person to take up the job. Then the sister, who is the applicant, the one who has applied for the job, comes to sit before the interview team and says, if it is a responsible person you are looking for, then I think I am the one, because the company I left before coming here was whenever something got missing, I was responsible for that. As Equivocation, whenever something got missing in that company, I was responsible for that missing item. Therefore, if you are looking for, don't worry, you can mute your laugh. Or if it is there, you mute yourself quickly. Therefore, if you are looking for a responsible, so if you are looking for a responsible person, then I'm the one you are looking for. You see the problem with equivocation. She has gone to give herself away. She's in trouble. She has lost the job, and perhaps the other company will come and arrest her because she's equivocating on what the word responsible. And I'm hoping that we are able to finish this unit and then go to the substantive unit 3 as I presented it, so that you can get some more examples. So equivocation is what is happening on this slide down there by the speaker. And I've had some good commentary in other groups that I've met for both main and city campus sometime last week. I have uploaded all those on my channel, and I generate the links and share on Sakai so people can easily get to it. But you will only receive the link for your group. If you're on the channel, when you get a prompt and you think the topic is something that you will need further elaboration on, then perhaps you can play it and see if it is useful. Okay, and always revert any confusion you have in your mind somewhere to your lecture. So read the example down there. Please read the example. Yeah, okay. Go ahead.
Example. I don't see why women are always complaining that they do not enjoy the same freedom as men do. It is a free country. So what's the problem? Everybody in Ghana here is free to do what they like.
I like the way the brother is reading the thing. I think he's the one who said it. Hey, Brian. This thing you are saying, you want us to beat you up. Look at the one speaking. He says he does not see why women are always complaining that they do not enjoy the same freedom as men do. Why should he have a problem? I think the person who spoke is a he. So let me address the he. Why should anybody have a problem with that? Do women enjoy the same freedoms as men? No. In all cases, no. It's not true. They don't. In fact, it's the same for men too. Men also don't always enjoy all freedoms as women do. I asked your colleagues in the previous weeks, since Saturday when I met these two, I've been asking this question. When we are in a room and you hear snake, 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 or something is falling over, or someone is carrying something and it's falling over, or people are fighting, what do we say? Men, bro, men. You are looking for men, look for women. Men, bro, you are looking for men. That is for men, according to how we think. Even if there is a woman who is strong to do it, that time we say, hey, this woman has manly, abilities. It is exceptional. If we are going somewhere and someone has to open the gate, we say, oh, the man should open the gate for the woman to sit. If we are in a queue, we are doing trotro, and they are pushing, and a man is pushing with a woman to get into the seat. The people there will say, you two are a man. Look at the way you are hustling with a woman, pulling her skirt down for her beads to show and all that. That's what they will say, because you are a man. We are a man too. They didn't pay. You went into the trotro. They charge you 5 pesos. The same lorry fare, but the pressure will be on the man. You are crying because your mother or your sister or someone who is dear to your wife or lady is passed, God forbid. You are sad. When you start crying, they say, oh, you are a man. It's okay. You are a man. You can't cry. Hey, something is paining me. The way this girl left me, I say, mommy. The way this girl, I say, oh, we are men don't cry. You feel free to even express your emotions. The sister will cry, and everybody will understand she's a woman. That's why. That is a freedom she has, whether it's culturally or religiously, what have you, that men may not have. Oftentimes they don't. I've cited some in favor of men. The same way women too. You see, it's not culturally only and socially, even naturally. Women do not have certain freedoms that men have freely. Peter, I will disable your thing. You see, when we all go and study hard, and it is time for us to go and write exams, then the day that sister must crack her brains and recall her calculus figures or deductive logic, modus ponens, rules, or stuff like that, then Madam Red will come and visit her. Naturally, not even something that someone did. They didn't choose to get to that state of the month. It is part of what makes her a woman. Natural, nature. And someone will say, oh, but if she's in red, after all, if she gets a good fix and covers up and finds you. No, it affects sometimes even your thinking, your emotions, your mood. When you see square root, you think it's long division. They ask you past tense, you are doing future tense. Yes. Also, it's for the period. But maybe a day or two, then the person is sorted again. Getting pregnant alone, the first trimester, can make a teacher beat a child till she hurts the child and then her license is taken from her. You don't know that mood swings can make a medical doctor, female, who perhaps didn't check her mood, write wrong prescription for people. You don't know. So she has to be extremely careful. You have all gone to fight for job. Apply for a job, gone for interview, blah, blah, blah. But now there are two of you employed, one lady, one female. Very competitive position. Maybe they even pick the lead. And the guy is on standby in case there's any. 3 months later, she said, well, she's pregnant. She may force her and work with the pregnancy. Vomiting. The thing is under the table. Teller. Imagine a teller, you want your 30 Ghana so that I can go and buy Kit Kat and Kim textbook or 50 Ghana to buy it. Then the teller is in the boot, they're vomiting. How annoyed you'll be in the queue. This is go to why? Why have they employed plenty women? They are the pregnancy pregnant. We need our money. That's what you will say. I'm just showing you that it is not her choice. Maybe to an extent now. But she was made with a womb. The man wasn't made with a womb. So two people get busy, one carries the load. I'm talking the natural one before we start talking socio-cultural systems. So if someone is presenting an argument and tells you, I think that there are certain freedoms that men have that women don't have, and you want to critique it, then the person who wants to critique that says, I don't understand why women are always complaining about the different freedoms that they have from the men, or certain freedoms that men have that they don't have. Your answer is, after all, look at the argument the person is making. And I've emphasized it almost in every group. I stress it because you should be able to see the equivocation, diagnose the issue, and see even the equivocation in it. It's moved from freedoms that men have versus those that women have, which you can't contest, in fact, if you were to go even to the merit of the matter. You can't argue. So the sister may lose her job because of childbirth. When you give birth, now you have to say, oh, I can manage with the pregnancy. When you give birth, you have your baby. The baby with the baby scent and the poo-poo and everything, her food is in your breast. The baby's food is in your breast. You're having to do 2 years exclusive. The man is jumping around his task as if nothing has happened. All that he's perhaps going through is the emotional and the psychological change. Even that is positive. Now he's a man. The sister is at home, mending her something after the process of delivery. While she expands her system, the body is changing. That's how God made it. To be able to accommodate the child and get his food inside your chest. The baby's fridge is your chest. You see that one and yours are the same. When you are all competing for the same office space, understand that whoever said that is addressing a certain sense of the word freedom, certain connotation. Those are the ones I'm highlighting. They are not the same. Are they the same? Do men have wombs? Someone said, but if they don't have a womb, do men have wombs? No, they don't. Let me show you the implications. The implications are what I've highlighted. It can affect your job, your plans, your ministry. There are churches that don't want, there comes, I'm going to the religious, they won't let women even hold the microphone to stand up there. Some say they have to sit far away because the Holy Spirit cannot descend. If the person standing there is telling you that Jesus loves you, it's a woman. It is in this. Have you heard some anywhere? How many women chiefs or kings do we have? People take even such traditional thinkings, which I respect, but I don't agree with, to Parliament, United Nations. They won't say it all because the powers are with the person, but it is in their thinking, their frame. So if the person leading is say like the way we have a very respectful lady vice chancellor, you see that. Why is it that when you see a man pastor, you don't say gentleman pastor? But when the pastor is a lady, then you want to say lady pastor. You see, it is in the psyche. So the person is not speaking at church until they move the visitor off where the pastor sits. Visitor pastor lady, move her from there to some place before the Holy Spirit can continue operating. That is discrimination everywhere. But ladies, to you are to blame. When you are in the trotro queue, oh, sir, please, that's why I tell the brother, brother, please, can I jump the queue? Then you jump. Go and join the queue. Go. What men can do, women can do better. You to go to the end of the queue. If it's Bankula, don't go do, brother, please, can I stand in front of you? I really have to go. Go and join the queue. Let the brother be in front of you. He came there before you, sister. Some people come to the office already. I say, look, you see, with the girl, sometimes we can't talk in class. I say, hey, what men can do, women can do better. You people parade that. Raise your hand and face the brothers and talk, and we all laugh about it. The point I'm making is, you see, we have differences naturally. So I don't like going even to the cultural one, where men are talking and women can, they say, go and sit down. Men are talking, you to have come here saying something. As if brains are not there for them. So the point I'm making is, even if you don't want to go to social, cultural differences, religious, whatever, you focus just on what nature made it, how it is natural. It will tell you that there are certain freedoms women will have that men do not have. I said the man can't cry. His own is a cultural thing. If he wants to cry, he should cry because God allows him to cry. But culturally, they'll say he's not a man, that's why. So that one, you can work on it. But what about the one that nature made? Telling you that treat this vessel with what? Calmness, because I made this vessel in a certain way. Now the person is advocating for that. You want to disagree with the person. He's every day complaining. Give us your reasons and look at the next one. Say, read it. Okay. So please read the second statement after the first one. I want to make a point.
It is a free country.
It is a free country. Just say, respectfully, the person speaking, who is equivocating like this, is so daft. And of course, you know that we are not referring to any particular person. So I'm just referencing the one, whichever object is speaking this way. So daft. But you will know that there are argument lines like this all over the place. Look at the first part, the equivocation that we are trying to dictate is how after the first statement, which is they always complain that they are not as free as men. After all, it's a free country. Look at the free he's talking about here. Ghana is a free country, yes. But is it free as in free or free as in free? 4 different connotations I've given. It's a free country because, we are not under curfew. The state allows us to express our opinions. We vote. Nobody's imposed on us. You see, we vote, of course, within the limits of the law. That's why you can't go open your mouth and say anything anywhere. Jaga, if you have vim, open your pillow when you are in your room, cover your head, and say everything that you want to say to the president or so and so person. I'll kill this president, but say all in the pillow. When you finish, wake up and say, hey, I've said my mood. No one will hear it. But if you go and open your mouth and say treasonable things in Ghana here, it is a free country, but you will not be free. Because the free you see there as a free country, it's not saying that feel free and do anything. So you get to, while working, then you enter into offend our president's place. I like those examples. Flagstaff House, and you and your lady are going to eat some pizza you bought. So you open the gate at the Flagstaff House, you're walking the gardens, showing the lady this is the president. I mean, is that a kind of free? Huh? I say Ghana is a free country. Do we mean that in the morning, excuse me, our prisoners, people go there for things that perhaps they didn't do and for unfortunate situations and all that. So we feel for them, but they are there. Then they wake up in the morning and say, excuse me, warden, open the gate. I want to go and get Agbamami, Atema, Banku. I want that one today. They are feeling free. It's still Ghana. They can't do that. Ghana is a free country. So then, what? Our neighbors should feel free and move around in and out. When we are voting, I feel free and come in and go. I mean, Charlie, the free we are using here, saying that Ghana is a free country, it's a certain connotation, a certain meaning of the word free. That we move about within the limits. There's a law that guides what we are doing. So we are able to make our decisions, wake up in the morning, decide on what to eat, what to buy. It's not so communist in the sense where if you want to brush your teeth, you have to go to government and line up which brush you will buy, which paste you will buy, which newspaper you will read. You can't listen to this. No, Ghana is not like that. So it is a free country in that sense of it. Not that it's free for you to do whatever you like. That's the third thing that the guy said. Say, read it, please. They said the third statement. Read the third statement.
Okay, madam. So what's the problem? Everybody in Ghana here is free to do what they like.
Can you imagine? Everybody in Ghana here. So see another sense of free. The person is equivocating. That's what I want to show you with all the long talk. Equivocal. The word is free, free, free. But every time he picks or he repeats the word, he's applying or making use of a different meaning of that word. Because one word can have different connotations, like we have learned. So if you entered my office as your lecturer, you are my student. And you sat down, or I brought you to my home. Let's use that, it's even better. Maybe you came, whatever. So I saw you, it was raining, whatever. Oh, I'm a legal lecturer, a student, blah, blah, blah. So I said, oh, let's go home, let me help you. You come to my home and say, sit down. I'm your lecturer, so you will be restricted. You are not my friend. But for some reason, I've had to bring you home, maybe to check script or something and take you back to the office. So the short time that I'm working on that, I say, oh, feel free, don't worry, relax. I say feel free. Does it mean you came with your friend and you say, oh, doc says you should feel free. Let's check the fridge and see if there's drink. And your friend says, hey, fridge saying, but that's in her kitchen. Say, oh, but she says you should feel free. Get up. Then one is in the bedroom, opening my husband's pictures and diaries and things. Hey, feeling free. My sister, is that what I told her to do? When I come back, I think I'll be happy. Then when I say, so dog, say have you seen that advert that they show now? That the sister removed her wig. It's a fruit advert. The sister said, oh, I'm feeling free. When he entered, the guy said, oh, feel free. By the time the guy returned, the sister didn't have her wig on. Say, hey, what happened? I'm feeling free. You see, it's very, very a term that has different connotations. So if you want to apply it, you want to apply it well in your argumentation. This person is arguing, giving reasons to support his claim that there is no grounds for you to argue that women and men are different in their freedoms to a certain degree. I say that both ways cry. So you want to make that case, then you go and talk about Ghana being a free country. And from there, talking about people feeling free to do whatever they like. When you are going to lecture hall, where your excuse me, your brothers and sisters, it's too early. But where your panty and your brazier to the center, feel free. Why don't you do that? Because even though it's a free country and University of Ghana is a free community, that free doesn't mean we do things freely without restriction. The exam hall, when they say start work, then the student, you get up and start moving around looking at people's submissions. So I know, so you're free, feel free. It's a free country. Traffic light says stop, then you are driving one. Please let us feel free, it's Ghana. It can't mean that. So free education is the conceptualization of people, how people are conceptualizing things. That's why you are raising so many questions. And of course, I think the initiators too are to blame. You don't present free something as if it is free and therefore it must be free. See, I've used 3 connotations. It is free education, yes, but there will be some payment here and there. I have to brush my child's teeth before she come to school. If she's not going to school, maybe 3 months, no one can access nothing. But for school, the cent will go on the child. So because of school, I will paste and come. It is free, yes, but it is not free, sir. Different connotations. People can't appreciate good things again because of how we think of the terms and how equivocal we are. When you go to Unit 5, there will be examples on types of laws, normative law, mathematical law, empirical law, various connotations of the word law. The essence is to show you that when we say you are breaking the law, we may have different laws we are dealing with. So there we'll look at those laws that are normative and those that are empirical. When we get there, we'll engage that subject matter. But the different connotations of the word law there helps us to understand equivocation well. Now, you will see that someone can say, you are breaking the law, and yet it is not a criminal law per se, where it's a crime. If you go and take your own child, brother, let's say you are called Ija Asimesi, you have read all your own children, and say, wow, when you read chicken, then you eat some. I'm trying to make a point. I'm not saying it's right. I'm showing you something. If you take one of your chickens, chicks, and you consume, it shouldn't be an issue. My sister or my brother, if the child is underage, you have defiled the child. If she's of age, you have raped your own child. When you go to court and they sit on the case, they will say, Eja Atalutu. The state versus Atalutu. It is the state, not. Don't say, oh, but my own child too. What are it's not the child versus you, it's the state. Because the crime, what you have committed is a crime. Criminal. But if, let me look for some names and make my example more effective. But if Jennifer Angofi and Gloria Ejare go and fight, scratch their faces in front of the tap there over Abraham Kwe. These are names I see. They might not even know themselves, so don't worry your head. They go and scratch their faces. No, you scratch your faces. Sister, it's a civil case. Civilians. It's not a criminal issue. They will not say the state versus one. No. You, when you go, they say you go and buy a krobe at the pharmacy there and heal those scratches on your face. You can get Akobam or Amidagomba. What's the other one? Or big Ghanaian stuff or Chocho. Go home.
Mami Mana.
That's it. Go and put them on your on your scratches.
Tangas.
Angel, Petri Keke.
Okay, if it's okay, I'll deliver your right. I'm trying to show you that is a civil law. Civilians. Take note. So it's law. It's binding. But the degree of emphasis, that is what is happening in the unit 3. Lecture 3. Lecture 3 combines some of the units together. So the slides have been combined in a way that will be easier for you. If you look at the course outline, you see that's how it was presented. I think Dr. Chrissy's slides are there for you. They are in your. But you see, when you look at the types, that is the essence. But if you go and say that tomorrow, because of what another is doing this, if he doesn't care, he won't sleep, he can't cross any junction. If he does, hey, who be you? That is not a civilian matter. You are dealing with the state, the collective us. I teach social and political philosophy, social contact, the sovereign. The person sitting there is an embodiment of us, not the person. The state is an embodiment, all of us together. So certain things, when you say criminal, so the law will grab you. Some are statutory laws. When you go to some places, you still they cut off your hand. You still again they cut off the other hand. I don't know if it's still been there. There are certain places you can wee all over people's houses, no arrest, nothing. I won't mention any place, but you know. But there are certain states, certain places too. If you go urinating and spitting, you can be charged. That traffic offenses, Ghana. Traffic offense. They are all, that's the point I'm making. So the state can have something that they recognize, but others don't. Statutory is a state law, criminal, constitutional matters, customary laws. In certain customs, you can't marry the person. You can't have this cohabitation without marriage. If you do that, and maybe there's pregnancy, the sister is going to deliver and doesn't come back, God forbid, you are in trouble. You will marry the cops, sleep with her, guided by the whatever, we shall come for something. You drink dead, water from the body. They will wash the body for you to drink. As those who do widowhood rights and all that. It is their law. So when you're standing by the house there and you are doing and the sister is coming, I give you back, front and back, and you are hitting, be binded. You see how many laws I've mentioned? I gave you practical examples. When you go to that unit, you will see they are there. Just to use to show you equivocation. At the same time, you go and learn the subject matter for that day. There are Accra people, those of us who live inside Accra. I don't come from Accra, but I've lived here all my life. So I respect the land. If I think I have them, I should go to where I come from and live there and work there. If you live here, they have customs. When it's at a certain time of the year, I think August or so, depending on where, they tell you, don't drum and make noise. Don't move around after a certain time in the night. I think then it was Thursday night or so of the period. Then you go and tell them that Ghana's law allows for freedom of movement. Freedom of movement. Freedom of movement. One is the law for everybody. One is the one that is respected by the big mother law, but coming from what? A specific group who have the mandate to do that, unless it's clarified in the law. So when they tell you that, and you said you go out at that Thursday night, and let us see. When we took first mother, I think some years back, if I'm not mistaken, passed, and they were doing the right. They said everybody sleep at a certain time. You are going to tell them the freedom of movement. Who are you going to tell that? If you have them go there, some people cry there. Another traditional area, I think they whip the people. Some students of ours also went to do research. They whip them. They are back, enter into the daughter and go back with that. They say wear black or red. People came in white jeans and whatever. Yeah, they lashed them. It came on the news. You all know. You have to understand that yes, don't say that I'm coming from Accra, nobody whip.
Or ignore.
That. If what am I saying? I'm back. I'm back. I just came back. I went off a little. I suspect my data, so I did a switch. Okay, when you go to Commonwealth Hall, that's where I got to. And you try to go and wear red then, vandals then, red. Yeah, if you have a red, wear it at your department. If you bring it to a lecture hall that had vandals there, then you do with a whistle. You get confused, sister. You can't take your steps. It's a social convention, so it's a certain sense of the word law, but not the one that police arrest you for doing. You see that? It's not the one that you will be charged criminally for it. The civil one, I said they can ask you to go home and settle. If Saebi decides on one of you, thank God. Go and buy codeine, you to buy this, case that. But there's another one, your own child, they say no. It's the state versus you. You're no battery. Because what you have done is not hurting your child per se only. It's hurting the whole state. that a child 9 years old, you are 65, pension baby, you have chewed the child. Your own child, yes, but you deal with the state. It's criminal. They are all defining law. Then the sister will say a bikini, proper bikini, not make believe. So you know what a bikini is. Skimpy clothing to the lecture hall. Just think about it. No one will arrest her. Maybe unless we have signal that perhaps something is not right up there. Then that one we will try and put it. Even there is no arrest, we are saving her from embarrassment. But if you are correct, as we all try to be correct, and you enter a lecture hall, 600 students sitting there, a male lecturer, busily teaching, so as I'm saying, connotation, denotation, then this is that comes in 30 minutes late and works at the front there. I wish we were in person. I would have done it for you to see. And comes to sit there. You see the sisters. Then those who blow tongues will blow the tongues on you. But no policeman will come there to arrest you, sister. We'll arrest you with our eyes because it's a moral law. I've talked morality, social convention. What's the other one? Criminal, statutory, constitutional. What I'm trying to show is that they are all laws. We are still on equivocation. But how we punish for them or how we regulate differs one from the other because they connote different senses of the word law. That's what I've been showing you. So if you see that what you are doing is against the law, which law are you talking about? Because the girl didn't pay tithe. Tithe in a way to tithe, so there. It's not the only. It's not police people that come to arrest her. I refer. If you don't pay your tithe, which police? When you come out, then Ghana Police Service will send someone. BNI has come. You haven't paid your tithe this month. You have broken the law. It's a divine law that people believe. Some don't. But it's not BNI that comes to enforce that. No. If 2 plus 3 equals 7, and in exam, you write 8, 2 plus 3, 2 plus 3 equals 5, and you write 2 plus 3 equals 7. Then no, I'll go and call police that he has broken the law. No, I'll give you wrong. The math teacher will give you wrong. The wrong is to tell you that you have broken the law of mathematics. It doesn't mean that you have broken the state's law or you have defiled, the customary code or stuff like that. So different connotations of the word law. And you imagine how when we argue, we mix them all up, my dear folks. We mix every one of them up and say, these people, what they are doing is breaking the law of God. God will punish us. This state, we don't do those things. Our customs have frown on it. If you are giving several examples, that's different. But the person argues as if they are all the same. Okay, the law he's dealing with is the same as all the others that he has earlier referenced. That is what we call equivocation. Okay, you see quite a lot of them when you do even informal fallacies. Okay, I have spent substantive time on that because we want you to apply the content, not just chew, pour, pass, and forget. So when you go into your discipline, you will apply those laws. If you are a smart one, you may be able to point out an equivocation at the law court to save your client from being sanctioned or sentenced. Okay, very good. Now with that done, and with a very confidence that you'll be able to answer practical applied questions on such notions, you're ready to move to the next. Any questions? Let me take 3 questions, then we move on quickly. So examples are on your screen. I don't think we should bother to read. Then we go to types of definitions, which my lady took us through nicely. The last type, which we didn't delve into too much, was what? Real definition, which is also called ideal definition, also called eliminative definition. They are all on your screen now. If you don't see it, maybe I stop sharing and share again. So you see, because I went out a bit. Okay, so I want to reshare the same thing. Real definition is also called ideal definition. People still call it eliminative definition and it is also called essential definition. It has those labels for different reasons. Okay, I'm called Nancy. If you are referencing my first name given to me by my father, what we call the Christian name. I'm called Amma. If you are referencing my home or day name, what we call the days of the week, depending on which day you were born, and you will call me Amma. I'm called Miles. That is my father's name that he gave to me as part of my first name. I'm called Bafo Jemfi. That's my husband's name. He himself inherited one from his uncle and one from his father. And then he has brought all to come and add to my long names. The point I'm making is there's a reason why you call that definition real. It is also called ideal, also called eliminative, essential. Okay, and last week we treated that special. Look at even the color code. You see that I coded it differently because I want to say something in addition to what has been said already about the other types of definition. So what then is a real definition? We know lexical to be the one we find in the dictionary. We know operational to be the step-by-step definition of a word. In other words, giving the meaning by showing the lists of instructions that takes you to that word or the steps that takes you to that word. We know ostensive is the definition that you get by pointing to the unknown word or demonstrating the unknown word. We know stipulative to be the one that we agree to or we call them jargons. Okay, they are shared by those who use that word alone. I think it was this group or maybe yesterday's one that said an example of stipulative is what? Biscuit. Two sisters sitting down. One tells the other, when you are coming from the shop, please buy me biscuit. Okay. Then the guy is sitting there and says, me too, I want some. And they start laughing at him because they are using the word biscuit to refer to something that they know, not the one that everybody knows biscuit to be, which the brother also knows. The sisters are talking something else, and I'm sure sisters they know. Okay, so if you also want some, you tell us what you use that biscuit for. When every time you hear people say something, you think you know. They are stipulative. The ladies have a stipulative, and they are siblings. So it's a stipulative definition of biscuit that Sister Adwa and Sister Ya are using when their brother Kofi is sitting there and thinks he knows biscuit as is lexically used. So he also wants some. That's stipulative definition. And then we also learned theoretical, the ones that are based on theory. You must know a whole discipline, a whole, if you like, course. You must take a course in a specific field of study to understand that definition. That is the issue. You must know chemistry to understand water is H2O. You must do some law to know amicus curiae. You must do some philosophy to understand argument in the technical sense of it, because we use the word in everyday life. Okay. You must do some economics to understand when we say Ghana's inflation. It's not blowing air into balloon. You inflate balloon. No. Okay. So these are all theoretical, theory-based, and that's a good revision and a good recall I gave to everyone. If you are new, at least you have received some information that will help you settle in. We still have, this is the third week. We are doing 11 weeks. So you still have quite a number of weeks ahead. So this should be a good foundation to help your build up. Now, real definition, which we kept in the fridge last week, is what we are discussing. And I've showed you it's only. Now, the point is, it is only this type of definition that truly, that's what all definitions must do. Real definition is, look at the name, it is real. So the others are counterfeit or they have lapses, they have weaknesses. I told you that stipulative, okay, better stipulative definition can have its weakness. Everybody thinks you are drinking water, but you and the person who bought the water know that, or who sells the water know that you've drank what you people call water. You have coined it out of the normal usage. Okay, so it can have a weakness. Ostensive, the same. If you point to your blue book to show your son that this is color blue, the chances are that your child will go thinking that it is only my mother's book that is blue until he learns further So it is a good start, but it doesn't give you a good, you'll see in a minute when we start doing diagnosing definitions. Oh, we don't know a dog. A dog is a four-legged animal. So at least the child can have a grasp of what he or she is dealing with, but he doesn't know it all. Sometimes when we start working with God, that's what happens. We get an ostentation, a little example of what he is, and people see that and they think God is always fire. He has to appear as fire because you are Moses. You saw him as fire in the bush there. God is big. Yes, so sometimes he presents as a dove. Sometimes the lion of the tribe of Judah, roar. Sometimes a lamb. Presentation of him to his people. So that was just an advice. It's ostensive to help you. See, sometimes he will give manna, he will let it fall from heaven. You don't do anything, you eat some. Sometimes you pray, he's not answering. That's Elijah, 3.5 years. I think 3 years, no rain. Huh. Mm-hmm. So what? So we have to understand that when we give all these definitions have the ostensive one, a point to specific. There are possible weaknesses with it. So the real definition, which is the last one down there that we want to focus on, is the one that really does what definition should do. And that's why we call it real definition. Okay. Why would we call it ideal definition? We call it ideal definition because it is perfect. It is a perfect expression of what a definition should be. Remember, we say definitions give meaning to an unknown word. So it does so perfectly. How? It does so. Remember, the ideal guys are not plenty in the earth. Those who like looking for ideal guys before they can enter into a relationship and ultimately marriage. Yeah, Doc, please, I'm actually looking for, I think I want an ideal guy. And I did okay. Moses, those people, they are dead. I'm meant to are looking for the ideal woman. It's true, you won't get them. Anna, Ruth, they are dead. Those on earth, they have problems, plenty baggage. You have to work on them and adjust. Some of them you have to adjust. Maybe you don't like a loud. Yeah, I don't like a loud girl. She has been groomed in a certain way. It take time to regroom. So you have to adjust because your lady can be very loud. Then you don't go and sit at a designer restaurant that has quiet people all seated there. Then when she said, "Oh, I think I really enjoyed this," then why you're uncomfortable, sir? Take her to a place very executive, sir, but people can talk freely. You won't get embarrassed. You see, so it's adjustment. Not that I'm going to change her. That one there is not your duty. You can't change people. Okay, so I just brought you as back ideal. You see, the examples I give around one point is to help you relate to what I'm teaching because it's a deep concept. If you don't do it that way, it will all be abstract to the student. So you use the known to get to the unknown. That's how you define. So what I'm doing right now is definition. So ideal guys, then you remember that they are not common. It's not plenty. It's not all over the place. So most of our terms are not ideal. Most of our definitions are not ideal. It helps you to understand. Most of our definitions are not real. Eliminative, we call it eliminative because wherever you see the definiendum, watch, you can use it to replace the definiens. If you've forgotten, the definiendum is the unknown word that you are trying to find meaning to. And the definiens is the part that you are using to give meaning. That is what you know. So a bachelor is an unmarried adult male. That is a definition. You are trying to give meaning. Definiendum is what? A bachelor. The definiens is what? An unknown, an unmarried adult male. Then you put them together to create a definition. A sister is a female sibling. Unknown word, a sister. Known part, a female sibling. So you are telling the person, if you don't know sister, what a sister is, or what a sister means, look at what? An unknown, then I make it unknown. Look at what? A female sibling. If you don't know a bachelor, look at what? An unmarried adult. So you are using what the person knows or can know. A female sibling. to tell her that that is what we mean when we say sister. So you don't know sister, this is it. And if you get that logic, you will easily diagnose the definition and tell whether it's broad, narrow, circular, or big. That is what we are doing now. Now we say the type of definition that we call a real one. What is its feature? It's simple. You can replace the definiendum and the definiens. You can change places, elimination by substitution. See, you can do that everywhere you use that word in the discipline. So if it's mathematics we are doing, and we pick a concept, if its definition will be a real one, because whenever we use, let's say, even number, it will mean a number that is divisible by 2 equally without a remainder. I'm entering into a very technical area that sometimes even teaching it is difficult. So grace and experience, I'm using to teach you, okay? Eliminative, we call it eliminative because it's reference and attribute. In other words, the definiendum and the definiens can change places wherever you use it in that discipline. So wherever I say even number in maths, because even number is a mathematical concept, wherever I say even number, it will mean what? An unmarried. Hey. Yeah, dear. Even number will mean what?
Hey, madam.
Madam,
It's
easy.
stipulative
Madam,
definition.
easy.
Easy, Grana. Maybe I go for the
Easy. Hey, madam.
Okay, let's continue. Even number, wherever I say even number in math, it will mean what? A number that is divisible by 2 equally without a remainder. Anywhere in mathematics. You can't say that's for you. When I say 2 plus 3 in math, it's equal to 7. Mathematics, addition is addition. Subtraction is subtraction. 3 minus 2 is equal to 1. That's the concept of minus. Minus means take away. That's it, finished. So you cannot have your own meaning of what? Long division. Or you understand? You can't have your own meaning of equal to or long, greater than or less. No. Mathematical concepts are, look on my screen now, I'm going to project something. Don't get worked up at all. See how you understand it. Mathematical concepts are, here is it, well defined. I'm introducing a difficult concept, so please try and keep your microphone off so that it will not be difficult to you. Divine, you are, please mute, okay? Oh dear, I just projected it, so come, wait. Well defined is on the screen. Can you see it, please?
Yes, please.
Great, thank you, Gideon. Let's continue. Please mute up. Yeah, if you can't see, touch your own screen.
Madam, I
If your
can't
screen has gone asleep a little, so touch it and we are good. Thank you. Now on the screen, you will see that
Madam, we can't
we
see.
have a definition for well defined. Okay, so I want one of you to read that for us. The slides are there for you, okay? And this is being recorded. I plan to pull it out for you, but I'm not required to. Like
Madam,
I
let me read.
plan to do that. So
Let me read.
Who wants to read now?
Yeah, me.
Please let me read.
I see Samuel Chumesi. So let me take Samuel Chumesi's reading, okay? Thank you. Everyone mute up. Everyone mute up now. Let's take Samuel Chumesi, please. It's been a disciplined class so far. Don't let anyone spoil the show, okay? I said,
Madam, please, I can't see.
So Chumesi, kindly read for us.
Madam, please, I can't see anything.
Please touch your gadget. Okay, it's visible, Abby. It's visible. Okay.
A term is well defined if its definition makes completely clear.
Oh, we can't hear you, Big Boss. Big Boss, we can't hear you. Let's make progress, please. We have a lot to do.
Madam, let me read. Let me read, madam.
Is that Osafo?
Yes, please.
Okay. Shumeshi, please respectfully, let's take Osafo. I think he has a clearer background and a bit more louder voice. Okay. We have special students. Hold on. Let me explain, please. So that doesn't sound as if we just dismiss the person. We may have special students amongst us who depend on the sound to help their understanding for the live sessions. You see, they can go and read later in their own way. But because they are not seeing the slides with their physical eyes, they listen to hear and participate. So it's important that the one reading is loud and clear. Okay, that is just the reason why. Asafu, go ahead.
Well-defined terms. A well-defined concept. A term is well-defined if its definition makes completely clear which objects or individuals or properties are correctly called by the word. Its meaning is not contestable in the discipline in question. Common in deductive studies like math and logic.
Very good. Now, so in the discipline in question, when we define that word, we wouldn't have any contestation because, and especially mathematics and the others that we have all seen, because the term does not allow for versions. Mathematical terms are concepts or terms used to guide how we are thinking, how we are adding, how we are trading. If I get 2 yards of cloth and I add additional 3 yards and I pay for them, I'm expecting to take home 5 yards. You two will go to the market, buy 2 oranges and add an additional 3 oranges. You are expecting to take 5 oranges home. So whether it is yards of cloth or oranges or yams, 2 plus 3 will be equal to 5 of whatever it is. So it is an abstract. These are abstract concepts. They are not substantive issues when you are dealing with math. Math is empty of content. It is form, addition, subtraction, long division, even number. Then I say list even numbers, you won't finish. It will go on ad infinitum. What you are given is the concept of even. So 2, 4, 6, 8, and they get 1,000. 1,002, 1,004 are 2,000, 3,000, trillion, zillion, 0 and 1, 0 and 2. My daughter said zillion 1, zillion 2, because we have done 1, 2, 3, trillion to zillion. Now we are starting zillion 1, zillion 2, because zillion after zillion, I don't know what else to follow. I said zillion 1. Then you start again. If you get to 2 zillions, you get to 2 zillions 1, it will never finish ad infinitum. Why? And you will never err because there is clarity. Listen, please mute your mic. Hey, you let me get angry. Who is that brother? Give me a minute. I'm going to grab the person. Wait, I'll grab them right now. Look at how I'm flowing like that. You let me lose my Grace, Auntie Grace.
Madam, she begs.
Oh, no, let's disable it to help. Sometimes people don't know. Okay, after a while, is it that I'm muted? Asafo 7, please keep it muted. It doesn't help. You have to get it. Is it that my little small boy phone is ringing? It's an emergency of a kind. Someone is there that we have to attend. But I will take it later. Okay. It's not your issue. Don't worry. So please keep muted so you understand. I said because the concept of even number, clearly, when I say even number, I told you it is a number. First, it has to be a number. It's not a button. It's not a table. It's a number in math that equally divides another number called 2 without any remainder. So you can clearly, that's what your friend read on your screen and watch. And because some say they don't see, let me stop sharing and reshare the same thing. It's there. It's just you kept your screen inactive for a while. So now it's like it's frozen. When it happens like that, you just have to touch your screen and it will show again. So I'm resharing to activate it. Look, I've shared it again and I think everyone will see now. Watch. It tells you a term is well defined if its definition makes completely clear, complete, not partially, completely clear which objects or individuals or properties are correctly called by that word. In other words, it makes completely clear what its denotations are. Clearly, you can clearly identify every denotation without ambiguity. You will meet ambiguity shortly, maybe today or subsequent week. There is no confusion about what is being referred to. And I'm just giving you an example that if you wanted to list all the even numbers, you will go to the end and start from zillion 2, zillion 4, zillion 6. It's clear what you're looking for. Why? Because of the nature of the concept. The concept permits that. You won't start adding pin and table and chairs to that meaning of even number. There isn't anything like that. But if you like start defining and looking for the denotations of bachelor and see, you will start calling human beings men, of course, who are not married. Before long, you are bringing in degrees that we earn in the university. Before long, you bring in bachelor's buttons and flowers, and they are all bachelor. And you will never be able to clearly distinguish the members or the denotation that that word refers to in that same discipline. So let's go to some concepts that we think are not well defined, and therefore we call them open texture. Then I'll go and link it to the definitions thing on ideal the area on your screen now. Let's have well done. Let's ask Kenneth, your background is not good, so if you mute it, it's a bit boring. Kelvin Aqua, read for me.
Madam.
I'm trying to do secular and this thing with you. So you read it, let me use that to pacify you. We'll get it. Go on now, Kelvin.
Open texted terms.
Very good.
Open texted or open class concept. A word is open texted or essentially contestable if it has several connotations or meaning, and therefore any given meaning can be contested, even within the same discipline. Examples of such terms are family, justice, fidelity, democracy, etc.
Etc. Well, yes, I have to add S to the example there so that it should be examples of such terms. So you are right in your reading. Thank you so much. Now, folks, this is what your friend read. Unlike the well-defined terms that we have just seen, where the definition is clear enough to avoid any confusion about what the reference is, what the denotations are. There is no confusion there. Where you are able to use the definiendum to replace the definitions. Remember, why we say it is ideal, it's not common. You don't find it all over the place. Some few disciplines do that. Deductive studies like mathematics, like logic, some aspects of physics, kilogram, what have you, geometry, small, they deal with shapes and stuff. You can't say that's for you in your home. Circle has become square. No, maybe circle is circle, whether in Afghanistan or Zaire. But what about justice? Look on your screen. What about justice? I said in certain, why would we review our justice system? Have you heard whether mass 2 plus 3, which is equal to 5 in 1960, has currently in 2003 become 2 plus 3 become 1,000? Oh, it's a concept, it's a tool, mathematical tools, deductive tools like logic. They are tools that you use, so they are not content, they are form, structure. That's what we engage in what? Unit 6, deduction and induction. The pattern of thought, the structure of thought is guided by these disciplines. So they are empty of content. That's why I say 2 plus 3 could mean 2 oranges plus 3 oranges equals to what? The same thing can mean 2 women plus 3 women equals 5 women. It can be, because it's the tool that we are using, not the subject. There's no subject matter. That's the weakness. So the tool is fixed, well-defined. You can't have your own versions of the meanings, no? Then you are not doing maths. He just said 1 plus 1 plus 1 equals 1. He was not doing maths. He's doing faith. But if you want to do mathematics, you can't go and buy something at the market, 2 CDs plus 1 CD plus 3. I use the special student, blind person example to make that point. He doesn't see the money in his container. But if you told him that someone gave 2 CDs, someone else gave 1 CD, and a third person gave 5 CD, then 2 plus 1 plus 5 must be 8. You can't tell him that, hey, it's 7. And when he says, but he says 2 plus 3 plus 5, that's 8. You say you don't see, I'm seeing, I'm telling you, say it's not seeing matter. It's concept, it's a tool. I don't have to see it. I can interpret it. Mathematics, logic. If you study, then the woman wearing suit is totally naked. How? You say you don't see, I see, I'm telling you. But you said the person is wearing suit. And at the same time, you want to say he's totally naked. That can't happen. Whether I have eyes to see or not is not the issue. It can't be true. It's the logic of it. So the deduction, contradiction, what have you, are tools Therefore, they are empty of content. That's for what? Well-defined terms. That's why it's few disciplines that have it. ID. Remember, identifiers. They're not many. And that is what definition should really do, which is what? Wherever I see the definition, it must replace the definitions without context, wherever, that's the emphasis, in that discipline. So I said in math, wherever I see even number, it means what I've defined. How about in sociology, if I see family? Can the one who has a prescription of family, a definition of family of a kind that we are working with, can he or she insist that it is closed? There can't be any other version of family? It's a joke. You lie. When I go to church, I call my church for family, brothers and sisters in the Lord. Our ex-president of blessed memory, who addressed the nation and say, my brothers and sisters, the man was addressing people who can be his great-grandchildren, or if you like, grandchildren and children. Then he calls all of us family of a kind. There are some people, their dogs are more family to them than they are whatever, okay? The house girl or something. There is a friend that sticks closer than a brother. I just quoted scripture. Those who are church people. Bible is attesting to that. You can have a friend and he will be more of a family to you than your brother, who is your mother's somebody. She will look out for your interest than even your senior brother or sister, who should do that in the name of we are blood. So all these are possible applicable ways of thinking of what? The word or the term family. Why? Because the term is open class, it's open texture. It permits for what? Various ways of using it. And so our business as academicians is to do what? To ensure that we are improving our understanding and our view of these concepts by how we present arguments. Argument just means you present reasons why it can't be this only. It could be this. We have to think of it. That is what humanity, social science, social studies, biology, what are these doing? We are trying to contest around. Contest means to argue, present different perspectives to concepts. That is why when your friend read, he told you, not only are such terms called open textured or open class concept, we think of them as what? Essentially contestable terms. These are terms that you can contest what their essence is. Essence means what they really mean. I'm talking philosophy now, Plato. The essence of a thing. The essence of my praise, the heart of it, what it really is, can be argued by another person. Look at justice. Some say a just system is one that gives everyone his due. Some justice systems aim at retribution, payback. Others are corrective. You see, sometimes the person is wrong. God is dealing with his children. My faith tells me that. In a corrective manner. Because if it's retribution, we don't know who wake up in the morning. Because if you are guilty of one sin, you are guilty of all. That's what the Bible says in the Old Testament. Guilty of one means you are guilty of all. So, holy than thou people. Listen, if we're going by the retribution, an eye for an eye, tooth for a tooth, I tell you, when you take someone's one cedi, you are just like the one that killed 1,000 people, or you are just like whichever nation you think are wicked, throwing bombs at each other. You are worse than them because guilty of one means guilty of all. But God deals with that one in corrective posture, especially if you're a child of God. He corrects. Even in punishing you, it is for correction. When I sit in the room, you are not eating your food till 6 o'clock. When I say that to a son, or I say, turn your face to the wall, you're not watching your cartoon today because you didn't do your homework on time. It's not because I want to show that I'm champion. It's corrective. And it pains the child. Maybe tomorrow, maybe you'll do the work early. Not to go and take a big stick and lay down, 4-year-old boy, or 5, class 1, 6. Then you are holding sticks. Lie down. I'll show you that you have to do homework. Hey, auntie, that is not it. So justice is but something it should be. So when you steal 2 cedis to go and buy it for 1 cedi, 50%, whatever, you've seen it in the news. She will cut your finger. You put your hand in hot water. Justice. That's how people think of what is just. Yeah. The point I'm making is different conceptions. You can't insist that yours is right. Remember value judgment versus what? What's the other one?
Factual
factual
statement.
statement. Yes, thank you, sir. Remember that. It trails into this. It will trail into verbal dispute versus substantive disagreement. It will trail into deduction versus induction. That's the starting point. So what? So justice, you cannot have a fixed, unchanging
As I say,
statutory meaning of what it means to be just. Because the challenge for someone is justice means giving everyone his due. John Rawls of philosophy says justice is being fair. Fairness means if the person starts from the bottom, balance it. So the pregnant woman who entered the banquet hall will be served first, especially if she's in labor and she needs to get just transport to fill her tank and get to the hospital. Am I the one who impregnated her? No. But someone says, look, we have to be fair. Fair means you can discriminate supposedly to balance the equation where matters are outside of the control. But that's why in the hospital, you can be at OPD, maybe you have some pimple on your cheek. That doesn't want to go. You have come to see the doctor. Then if an emergency comes, you have been sitting there since morning, maybe even missed the lecture because Johnny Bravo is not allowing you to have a peace of mind. You're a new guy. So you want to go and take this pimple off. It's important to you too. You are not joking there. That's why you even missed the lecture. You see, but after you sat in the queue, it's your turn to go see the doctor. Then they bring, quote and unquote, emergency. Everybody at OPD will leave you. Doctor will leave his consulting room. Call specialists. They are all attending to someone who brought a heart issue, as if you don't matter. That is just, according to Rawls, it's a fair treatment because this one is a heart matter and it's an emergency of an accident. Johnny Bravo can wait for pimple to leave your face. Think of it that way. Someone says, no, give everyone his due. So first come, first serve. But the sister's heart is coming out. She will die. First come, first serve. That's how someone thinks of justice. So you see what I'm doing right now? That is what open textured terms permit us to do. Present reasons, think around it. So if you see someone in the humanities, social sciences, what have you, all the other disciplines we have, writing, political point of democracy shouldn't be this. Look at your screen. Democracy should have some parliamentary bit to it so people can argue their way and we can keep our monarchy, but we have to maintain freedom of speech. What we are doing is making the word or the term better, or trying to get what? The essential meaning of it. That's what we are doing. It's beautiful for that. It's content. It's not form. If P, then Q, P, therefore Q. Finish. I'm a logician. It looks simple and straightforward, rules, but the rules apply on content. This one, open textured terms are the content. You understand? That is the point. So, democracy as practiced by America, it's not democracy as practiced by UK. UK has a kingdom. There's a king and a queen. You saw the queen's funeral. What is the queen of America or the king of America? America doesn't do king and queen, but they are both democracies, and we call them world democracies. Look at the difference. And I am imagining an American king. Hey, Uncle the king won't sleep. The point then is, whose democracy is the democracy? If you are looking for the democracy, that is where you have a problem, because it is not maths for you to look for the answer. It is what? An open class concept, and the same applies to fidelity. I've explained all the terms I picked to make the point. Family, justice, fidelity. Who is an infidel? A brother that has a wife and has gone for a girl. For certain, let's do only Christian faith. For a certain group of people, that is infidelity. They are hurting the woman. The married bed is undefiled. It's all in the scripture. I belong to that faith. But the same Christian faith, you have another group who say they are also Christian. They'll tell you, no, Abraham had, look at Solomon. Ejah David. He is chopping left, right, center. Apologies. Chopping right, center. He's a man after God's own heart. Was he an infidel? Or he was? You see, sister, apologies, but I have to say it as it is to show you that be careful with open class terms. Don't think that everyone sees it the way you do. And it doesn't mean yours is correct, because yours is not that we say we are professing like Christianity. For example, look at the transitions. Abraham took his wife's assistant, house girl, and enjoyed. Take note, because infidelity is an open class term. Maybe for the time it worked. After you advance Jesus told you in the beginning it was not so. He didn't plan it that way. Every man was supposed to have his wife. But the people are God's patriarchs. They all did that. Solomon, 300 wives, 700 concubines. Will you remember which one was your first wife that came to pass? How? 1,000 women. How will you remember them? Bible makes records of it. So was he an infidel? The guy was giving wisdom. Bible references him. And he had 300 wives. I'm told 700 concubines. That is the Ntoso. Bad. 700, one man. Was he described as an infidel? So who is an infidel? And who is that? It is open textured. It has different aspects to it, different ways of understanding. So what? So you can't have a real definition for what? An open class concept. You can't. You shouldn't look for it. You can make an attempt at improving definitions to get to it. But don't ever reach a place where you say we have arrived because of the nature of the term. That is what that topic is telling. And therefore, back to that slide. It's only 2 slides, the content there. So real definitions or ideal or eliminative or essential definitions are the ones that you are likely to find in what deductive studies, which are only dealing with what form, not content. It's not something to be happy about. It's only math and logic that we have well-defined terms. Those well-defined terms are empty. There's disciplines that are dealing with content, which is what we need, allow for us to keep looking at it from different perspectives and reviewing our court systems and reviewing our laws. The substantive matter is there, but how we are presenting it is varying from one place to the other. Democracy is being improved here and there, we think, because we are dealing with what open class concept. And if you got that, then I'm so happy with the class, do problems with definitions. And then I'll pause. Take note that unit 2 is what we are mopping up, we are cementing it. If I wanted to teach it like unit 2 I'm teaching, and by now I'm on the 4th unit. I want to make the thing meaningful. That's what I'm doing. I'm opening it out and exposing them. It's not just slide, okay, broad, narrow, circular, big. Anyway, any questions? Okay, yeah. Tautology is also there. Finished. Then we would have been finished. is that an expression? We would have been done, if you see, right? Okay. I want to give you the content for your field. So there are political science students here. There are law people aspiring to do law amongst you. There may be people who are they have the heart for religion and evangelism and ministry and whatever. You have to have that mind. That's why we go for evangelism. It's not shooting, and you people, you don't want to come and give yourself to God. No. I didn't know how can on take, because if you reference the Bible. The Bible, the person doesn't think it is any authoritative book spiritually. They think it's someone's, oppressive tool. So if you reference it, it wasn't the case for certain people. For certain people, even you say they are persuaded, and then the Holy Spirit touches them maybe, and then they receive. I believe that. So I'm speaking almost like criticizing it, but I believe it just that sometimes how we go about it is not macho. No. The people who killed Jesus, they thought they were doing the right thing. Look at Paul. Look at Paul. Oh, I'm talking about New Testament. We thought he was doing the right thing. People, if you don't do Bible, just reference Google Paul. This all the examples I'm giving. You will be. I can't talk about another one that I don't know. That's why I reference it. But look at Paul. How zealous he was. How the zeal with which he was persecuting, thinking that he's doing God a favor. I'm protecting the kingdom. Why? So you approach it in a way that the person can receive the word. Let the Holy Spirit do his own. Don't go and stand somewhere. Excuse me, I think we'll have some Nigerian friends, students among us. And you go to a Nigerian setting and you are preaching and you say, hey, you are so poor. If it wasn't for Christ, I was so poor that even Gary I couldn't buy. You are not sensitive to your audience. Gary is a delicacy. Rich people eat it. Go and see the goosey stew they do to eat that guy. Then you go and stand there. Now, by the way, I was so, poor then, even that is the manner. You see, so you have to be sensitive to the people. It's not Holy Spirit. That one, it is human flesh. You couldn't discern. You go and spoil the heart of the people you went to give God. Because when you finish and say praise the Lord, they are sitting there looking at you. Hallelujah. We have heard. When you say Garibu, me, I ate Gary and Eba with big meat inside. Them see Gary and Eba and a goosey to pop papa or some of their soup that I'm learning online to try and prepare. Sometimes I don't get the ingredient. Delicacy for them like that. So it's done with some places, but dog meat pie. The people do that is what they like. So some of the things people, it is being what sensitive. That is for the one who needs it for a certain discipline. If you got that, then now we can look at the problems we encounter, or sometimes we commit, all of us. But if it is too rampant, then you are not helping the audience. I told that the audience is not necessarily a group of students learning, like I said. It can be the nation. So you are now, let's say, the policy maker, or you are the communications director, or you are UN Secretary General. So immediately the audience becomes your student that you are trying to make meaning to. Then for you to make meaning, you are teaching or defining, making meaning for a certain concept. And you are just going in circles, circularity. The third one. What is that? Instead of giving us the meaning of the word, you do what? You use a very word or term that we have no understanding of to explain or define that same word. We say you are being secular, or you are begging the question, or you are being tautologous when you use them. Begging the question when you use it in argumentation, arguing, and then it says, because we go back to the same premise that we are trying to establish. You see it in Unit 10 when you're doing formal fallacy, but they bear the same name. The Latin one is petitio principii, repeating the definiendum in the definitions. So development, look on my screen, I'll project some examples I gave and come back to this. Look, example, point number 4. Development is to develop the nation and embark on developmental projects so that the nation becomes developed like the developed nations. That definition, I've never stopped saying it. I heard it on radio. Perhaps not as literally as I said it, but
Bars, my nigga.
Hey, this person wants to come and be in charge of something and decide for us. You don't know development. How will you give us development, my brother? That's the issue. How do I know that? I say, what is development? Development is when you develop the nation. You ask me, what is critical thinking, Doc? I say, critical thinking is when you are critical about how you are thinking. What is simple? That is simple. The person who know anything.
Yeah,
Open
this
it
is
up.
very
And
true,
give the
fam.
meaning. You see, that means move from the known, what the person knows, use that to help him or her get what is not known. In other words, define meaningfulness. So, Brian, boss, don't sit at your medical lab and tell the person who has come that you are suffering from after checks, you are suffering from scoliosis, whatever schools, which is also called common. You will kill the patient if you know it is also called common cough. Tell the patient first. Tell the patient first that you have something that is like common cough. Its technical name is this. So give them what they know and use that to take them to what they don't know. That is how you should teach. That is how you should engage. That is how you should go and tell your father or your mother respectfully about something. Don't go and do like you have come to Legon. So now, which Legon? This critical thinking that a swawa, you are Legon. So these things, we don't do them. And what do you know? Use that. Speak from the known to the unknown. If you are trying to make meaning there, if you want to show your stuff for a paper, there's a time for that, because sometimes people rubbish what you have. They want it to look like you are a woman, for example, or you are my daughter, or you do where you name this guy that we know in this area. When did he become? Then you should, hey, master, that one there, by the grace of God, we have advanced, so be careful. That there's a place for that. Okay. So back to our point. I'm saying that use the known to help the people know what the unknown. And you see how we are patiently engaging the content. There's no rush. Where are we going to? We want to know. So it's not a competition. Who answered first? Hey, no. You have to know. Little, well-grounded, a lot of examples, practically and useful to your studies. It's critical thinking and practical reasoning. We have to reason about practical matters to help us. So the friend who says development is to develop a nation and embark on developmental projects so that the nation becomes developed like the developed nation should go and be a rapper. He said nothing. It's empty. The same thing is happening with example 1 up there. I'm not saying rappers don't say anything. Rapping, normally we enjoy it when we are rhyming and stuff like that, and the beat and the intestines flex and all that. Not that.
I think a typical example is what I did when I was defining the
exactly. If you yourself are confessing, I mean, I have not remembered. That is when you say stipulative is when we stipulate meaning. That's my brother. This thing you have brought one I don't buy. So that's an example. Now you are minded. Now you are minded. And when someone to an authority, no matter how, it can be anybody. Okay. Sometimes church, the counselor is saying you have to live moral life. So the youth, more 12, 13 people, they want to know. So, mommy, please, what is moral life? It's it. Moral life is when you live your life morally. Make sure. Now, and the children are sitting there. They didn't understand anything, but put content to it. Dress well. Dress to cover your body. You see, there's beauty in that. If you are a virgin, it's not embarrassing. When they ask you and they say, oh, Kolo, you are not a virgin. Say that those are the contents that makes what moral life meaningful to the child. Don't smoke. This lipstick and this. Don't leave your hair more. Don't wear chain on your leg. All these ones put together are, you see, I'm using stipulatives. Excuse me, extensive definition. Put them all in. If the concept is too convoluted, to make meaning. It's a morality. It's when you live a moral life. Remember my slide number 1, lecture 1 slide. If you remember our lecture 1 slide, I gave you examples when I said pause to think. Those that were in red ink, that morality example was there. It's secular. The child that didn't benefit. Sometimes a counselor doing that. He's saying plenty things for married couples. What he's saying now, they are repetitive. There's no content. So when they all go, they all put content inside. So the woman thinks that the man must give money. The man thinks that the woman must sit in the kitchen and cook. Must. Even if she's sick, you must. It is the confusion from the one engaging so-called tutelage, giving information, circles, begging the rest. You can get examples. Even the one up there. Lady, efficiency is being efficient at what you do in this office. The sister says, you said I'm not working hard enough. I'm not efficient. Maybe I don't know what you mean by efficiency because I thought that coming early and all this is what it means to be efficient. But you still think I'm not being efficient. Please, can you help me with what you mean by I should be efficient so that I can do it and make you happy? Says, lady, being efficient. No, efficiency is being efficient at what you do in this office. You didn't have the easy. Back to where we are, secular. Now, broad definition is, remember the logic of definitions. You are giving the meaning of a word. What you are doing is you are helping the person to understand what he or she doesn't know by using what he or she knows. That's definition. So you tell me that a bachelor is an unmarried adult. We have revised it. I'm referencing again. It means if you don't know bachelor, look at what an unmarried adult means. That is bachelor. So now we have come, and I don't know dog. I'm a 3-year-old child, for example. It can be a technical issue in a certain field. I'm not an economist. So if you are talking IMF and all these things, I also learn like a 3-year-old sitting in front of auntie at school to learn. That's what it means. I'm not a medical doctor. So if you are talking medical issues about COVID, for example, when it came, the substantive technical things, I sit and learn like a 3-year-old. So that's why I always reference that. You want to teach me what a dog is. They tell me a dog is a 4-legged animal. You all know what will happen. Because of our numbers, I don't want to ask, because if I ask you to take another 5 minutes to silence everyone again. And I want you to get the key concepts. When you get it, then we can chat, sir. You know, when you see cow, you say dog. When you see elephant, you call it dog because of how I defined it. I said a dog is a 4-legged animal. What do you think will be the problem with this definition? Obviously, it's not circular, but is it broad or narrow? You can unmute and answer.
Broad.
Madam,
Broad.
Broad.
Very good.
Broad.
It's broad.
Broad.
It's broad.
Broad.
Yeah.
Broad.
It's
Yeah,
broad.
it is
Broad
broad.
means
It is broad.
included. Thank you.
Broad.
Broad means
Broad.
Thank
Because
you.
all normals have.
It's broad. It's okay. Don't
Broad.
unmute again. I've muted it. It's broad because what? I have included. Now look on your screen, please, so you get the concept. Where is it? I'll go back. Please look at how we have defined broad. Keep quiet, please, and listen. It's broad because we have said that if a definition is broad, then the definitions, now we are using the technical terms, follow. The definitions you have given to that definition covers things that do not belong to the denotation of the word. Remember, the denotation are these examples of it. So you have defined in a certain way that has brought in certain things, members of the set, which are, those members are not legitimate men. They don't belong there. You have brought them in. So if I tell you a dog is a 4-legged animal, 4-legged animal, that's what you like to hear. I'm telling you, if you don't know dog, look at a 4-legged animal. That's what I've told you. Remember, what you don't know is the definition. It's not the other way around. So you don't know dog to know whether it has a tail or whatever. No. So don't say, oh, my dog, but the other animals do have a tail. I am saying I don't know dog. Definition, dog. Help me know. You say the definitions, Mimi. Look at a 4-legged animal is a dog. Won't I call elephant and cow and all animals that have 4 legs? I'll call them dogs. That is the problem. It's broad. They are brought in unwanted pregnancy. Now, when do we say it is narrow? You have defined in such a way that it has excluded others that belong there. You defined, you're giving meaning, but how you defined, remember, words are conceptualized before we capture them into language. So the concept of the word that we know is not what you have captured. You have excluded legitimate member. Exclusions means you have locked the door to people who should be in the room to sleep. You have locked the door. Wicked stepmother. So you have left some of the man's children outside. They belong there. You have left them out. That's narrow. You have made the gate small. So for instance, if you say, back to my examples that I gave you to help you understand it, the meaning of evil is murder. Evil on our screen. The meaning of evil is murder. I'm telling you, if you don't know evil, look at murder. What will be the problem with that? Chorus answers. You talk a little. After that, then
It's broad.
Madam, please, it's too broad.
There are
it's
many
narrow.
kinds of
Madam,
evil,
it's very
not only
broad.
murder.
Very good.
There are
Narrow.
so many kinds of evil.
Very good. So many types of evil will be left out. Gossip, bearing false witness. You weren't there. You said, I saw him.
Stealing.
You want them to give you fans. If you said, I saw him.
Mape.
You weren't there. I want to talk about the ones you are looking for. Jealousy, envy. They are evil. Copying during exam.
Making noise during online lecture.
Thank you very much, my brother. Hey, class 1, how you finish? Come for Amak.
Madam, I'm Isaac.
Oh, Isaac, someone has to write his name. Or we don't know.
Madam, I'm pressure.
You see,
My name is.
when they
He's
say
lying,
mute
he's
your
lying.
phone, when they say mute your phone, then your phone is on. Oh, those are evil. We are just joking, eh? The point is, you leave out legitimate members. You leave out legitimate members. It's okay, sir. Let's finish. Okay. So then what? So the point is, if you define this way, your child may go. Child, you're referencing whoever is learning. I've already explained. Can be an adult, but a child in the area will go. And then I said, the reason why perhaps a certain wife or husband or mother or son, whoever, or fresh mother who is taking care of her child, perhaps she's struggling or she's doing something wrong. It's because of how the person defined the word, made it meaningful to her. Maybe you went for medicines from doctor and he says, okay, so what I've given is fine. You can add a painkiller to it. So the auntie says, what is painkiller? Maybe he doesn't know. You say, oh, para. The sister will go out looking for para. She goes and then the pharmacy says, we don't have para, but we can give you another painkiller. He said, doctor say para. That's how doctor defined painkiller to her. Doctor didn't say para is one of them, but any painkiller can do. He didn't intend evil, but he said para. So when she went to the pharmacy and they said, we don't have para now, but we can give you diclofenac or brufen or what have you, because the person doesn't have any health complication. It's urgent. She needs it to ease the pain. He said, no, you are going to the other shop there. The woman with taxi, if I drop him, I'm para. It is in how the definition was made. Now, painkiller is para. When I define painkiller as para, I have narrowed the definition, simply meaning I have left out the legitimate members. But if I had said a pen is a writing tool, I'm saying if you don't know pen, look at a writing tool. When the person sees pencil, he will call that one also a pen. That's why that is broad. You have added illegitimate members. So you know secular, you know broad, you know narrow. And there was no rush because we want you to understand so you can apply it at your political science discussion or your geography class or what have you. Then you can go out there and impart knowledge without narrowness. Or where it has to be a narrow definition, you can point that out, that this way of describing our policy is just one of them. If you go to so and so place, they do this, but they do this so and so this way. Then it really makes the impact that has to be done. The last one is vague definition. Vagueness means you are extremely broad at it. You are too broad that what you do not make any meaning. It's not specific. That's the last one on our screen currently. You don't specify. Your definition is not specified. It's indeterminate. It's extremely general. That is meaningless, empty. Broad is clear, determinate. That is why we are able to tell that you have brought in members that shouldn't be there. That's broad. Narrow is clear. That's why we are able to tell, or determinate. That's why we're able to tell that you have left correct members out. Circular is very clear. So clear that we can see that you have repeated yourself. But vague, it is not clear because the definition is extremely general. Anything applies to it. We'll fill in the set. Example, democracy is freedom for all. This is from your textbook. If I ask what is democracy, and you tell me democracy is freedom for all, you already saw freedom when I engage you. So you know how ambiguous it can be, the various connotations the word freedom can have. So we have seen that. Freedom is what? Democracy is freedom for all. So freedom as what? How free? What is free? We should allow the rebels to enter Ghana so that we will all have freedom for all what? All people. I asked you, rebels, non-Ghanaians, they should feel free to enter, no immigration. What is freedom? Free. You see what I said? They should feel free to enter and go as and when. Bring their currency, carry our monies, our freedom. No tax, feel free. Free. All human beings, including rebels, prisoners, armed robbers should feel free. Rapists should be allowed to free. Freedom for all. Is that what you are saying? You see how many things I'm putting in? Animals too are. All animals. Snakes can feel free. They should walk all over the place. The lions at the zoo near us here should be set loose to feel free. Freedom for all what? It's vague in Yanam. And oftentimes when you use language figuratively, okay, figure of speech, metaphorical, proverbial, then you are likely going to commit what? A vague definition, an error of what? Vagueness. So vague means you are extremely general, indeterminate, non-specific in trying to define a word such that almost everything that you can think of fits into the set. I've given you a clue. It is when you often try to speak vaguely. I nearly committed a secular part. When you try to speak figuratively, idiomatically, proverbially, metaphorically, all those indirect use of language in defining, then you are likely going to commit what? A big error. And on that note, we are on unit 3, which you should be preparing for next week. Any question? If we had even 10 minutes, I would have gone through argument, narration, instruction, rhetorical polemic for you to set you off nicely. But if not, you can always do that later. They are not difficult. You just have to read them, and then I will engage because I want to talk about. No, we won't do all that. So this is where we are, unit 3, which is slide number 3. Okay. Now let me take questions that you may have. Remind me, because groups 1 and 2, I think I set off with a little narration or whatever. But the other groups I teach are all going to start from unit 3. So when I get to unit 3, then it means that we are just going to engage, knowing that we are starting. When I say we are starting, it doesn't mean you two are going to close your book till you land next week before you open unit 3. No. I'll walk you through it and mop up nicely. Let's take Opoku Enoch's question if it's still there. After that, Heritage, Adam, please be on standby.
Madam, please, I have no question.
Very good. Thank
Please,
you.
I have
Hand
no
was
question.
up. I think it was when you read. So thank you for reading for us. We appreciate it. Let's take Heritage, Ado. Aisha Ama, standby. Heritage, quick.
Madam, please, I don't have any question.
Very good. Okay, so there are some hands up. I'll mention all the names so that if you don't intend to ask a question, please lower your hand so that I can see those who have legitimate questions, okay? Or better still, okay, I see hands dropping by themselves. Please look at it. If your hand is up, lower it if you don't intend to ask a question. Daniel Ofori, do you want to ask a question? You are muted. No, your thing was loud, so you don't get to. Can send me an email, but you don't get to ask a question. Wait, I shout that I blocked you. Carol, ask your question.
I'm sorry, madam. I'll lower it immediately.
Okay, thank you. That's helpful. Eugene, your hand is up. Heavy Christiana, Joshibet, Papa. I think somewhere when you wanted to read for me, so it's fine. Just lower them. I'll take those that are legitimate questions and we can end.
Madam.
Madam. Michael, is there a question? I see 3 hands up. Is it Eugene?
Yeah.
Go ahead, Eugene.
Okay,
let's take Eugene. Then we can take Heavy Christian. Christiana. Let's take Eugene first. Eugene, go ahead.
Okay, so I was asking whether any like example is a dog is any 4-legged animal. Is it an example of the vac?
Is it what?
An example of the vac.
No. That is, we're just going through that. If I say a dog is a 4-legged animal, that's broad. I've said that already. Yes, that's what I'm saying. If you don't know a dog, look at a 4-legged animal. We know what a 4-legged animal is. There is no vagueness with that. It's clear what 4-legged animal is. But our problem is whether that helps us know a dog, because then we will call cow to dog, who has 4 legs. We'll call a goat, an elephant, a lion. They will all become dogs. Okay, by that definition. So this one, it is broad. It's not vague. Vague. What is democracy for all? Freedom for all? How do we even identify freedom for all? For all what? So that we go there and check. What is freedom? His notion of freedom. The terms are convoluted. They are not clear. And I said that happens mostly when you are speaking figuratively. So I just showed you why it's vague. If I define democracy as freedom for all what? All people. I asked you, including prisoners, including rebels who enter our borders, including people who are non-Ghanaian, who are coming to Ghana to come in. I mean, there should be restrictions. So freedom, which sense of freedom and for which people? The definition doesn't tell you. So it's indeterminate. It's not specific. I hope you understand that. Okay. Yes. Let's take Aisha Ama, if your question is still there.
Madam.
Aisha Ama, please. Aisha, unmute and ask your question. Aisha, unmute and ask your question. If you are not there, let me take Kluche. Kluche, go ahead.
Ma'am, please, let me ask. I'm still not clear with the broad and narrow.
So play back the recording when I send it to you. Okay, that's the only way.
Hello.
If you know definiendum and you know definiens, then you work around it. So I'll send you the recorded version. You can also attend tutorials and ask for more examples. Okay, the tutorial links are all at your resource too. But the recording is being done. I can send that also to you to help your understanding. Heavy Christiana.
Please, what about pseudo?
I've not said anything pseudo anything in this my delivery. I beg you. Okay. Yeah, the one that we are engaging, but we haven't seen it. So we don't want to go and add anything else. Let's engage the content. Okay. Mary Ajekum.
Madam.
Jesus name Ame. Yes.
Madam,
Jesus' mother. Ask your question.
Can you explain the vague again?
Oh, I've said it too. I've said it 2 times, even after someone has asked again. So when we have reached, when it's like that, it means you have to play it again and again and again. So I said there's a recording that we have done. I'll share it to the class. You just have to pick from wherever you think you need emphasis on. Then you tell that madam's voice there. Play it again and again. You can play it 1,000 times. No issue. You see. Otherwise, we'll be adding the same thing repeatedly to your recording. It will be very long for you. Because I've said it again. Maybe you didn't read before coming. Or even if you read, it wasn't as clear to you as you wanted it to be, which is fine. So when it comes in, you read. Yeah. If it's still bothers you even after playing back and engaging, then you take it to tutorial. We have at least 8 or so able TAs with 2 times in a week. So there will be 16 tutorial times for you. If you attend this one, it doesn't help you, attend the other one. They won't teach. They are just there to take queries and help you. Okay, go to this side. Look at this example. That's what they will do. It can't be part of the lecture. Okay. You can still send me an email too. If I think that it is something that you still need, I can even ask you to call. The thing is, you have to do your part of it. Then we can help you. So I'm saying that engage the content. Okay. All right. Some few other not 15 hands up. I don't think I can take more. Some of them are not substantive questions. So let me.
Madam, please.
Is it Joy?
Yes, please.
Go ahead. Why do you put your ID there? That's why I'm not calling you. See, I skipped the IDs. Call.
I'm sorry.
Hey, talk. Don't worry, say. Go ahead.
Please, there's this definition I want to ask whether it's a circular definition or any other definition. And we know Abraham Lincoln's definition for democracy.
Go ahead.
It was like government of the people, by the people, and for the people. So I just wanted to ask whether.
What do you think?
I don't know. That's how I'm asking.
It says democracy is like, oh, I know you don't know, but I want to know what you think, because if you think it's correct,
madam.
So I try to get your mind. Remember, you can only make meaning to people when you move from what they know to what they don't know. If you come and are telling them what they don't know, that's why they don't know. So what you are saying, it will make meaning. You have to use what they know to help them get what they do not know. Moses, what do you have in your hand? I have a staff, put it down to become slave. Don't we have anybody with food here? I want to feed these 4,000 or so people. Only a small boy's land. Very good, bring that. Do you have any food in your room? We do. Elijah says, he says, only some small flour and go and bring it. Eat now, go and pour the thing. It won't fit. It's always what you have that we build on to help you know and get what you are looking for. That's my philosophy for teaching. Okay, that's why I ask you, not that I don't know the thing and I'm asking. You're telling me what.
Okay.
So I was trying to get your thoughts about it. You think it's narrow? Yeah, yes, I would also want to agree with you, but it will depend on what the man means by government of the people, by the people, and for the people. It depends on what he means. Is he saying that by the people means it is the people here referring to all the individual, Ghana, we are 30-something million, right? So all the 30-something million of us should sit down and make a decision about whether we want A-levy or not. How should we do it? We should hear everybody saying something. So when I talk a little, then you also talk a little, then for the 39 million or so, 30 whatever million people, it couldn't mean that, I think, because that is unrealistic. Why would we even sit to do that engagement? To hear each one of us, human being, grown or young, so of the people, by the people, for the people, already babies who are also people. Babies are human beings. They are not trees. You see, they are also human beings, but we will not include them, I think. Abraham Lincoln didn't tell us to include or not to include. He made a statement. That statement doesn't tell us whether babies are included. How about mentally sick people? They are also people. Government of the people. By the people. The people. Mentally sick. Grandma, great grandma, rich, poor, they are all in. Are they all included? I'm asking. You don't know that. And when we say government by them, are we saying they all must be the government? In other words, I am MP for so and so, and then I'll be MP for where I'm standing. When I move, someone else becomes it because we will all occupy a space. So there has to be a heart, a mind behind what the man is saying, which is captured into what iconic, catchy phrases like this. Professor Gechi has done an elaboration on that, and he tries to explain that if you look at the heart of the speech, then he means government of the people means this. It's the thing must be from the people must be. So you can't come and impose your rulership on me. It has to be people who are governing themselves. So of the people, I must be able to relate to the king and say, the king is me. Zitoli's book tells you that. The king is us. So the king is us really, ruling. So when the king is ruling, I see myself ruling. That connection must be there. If it is there, then we will say that there's clarity on what he means by of the people, by the people, and for the people. Otherwise, for me, it is vague. And it's not all the time that vagueness is a negativity. Vagueness only calls for extra reflection on the thing that has been said. Jesus said, behold, I come soon. That is vague. And he knew what he wanted to say when he said that. Behold, I come soon. Soon is over 2,000 years. It's still soon. Any moment from now, you see it when we any moment from now is vague. Any moment from now can be 1 minute from now or 30 years from now. It is still any moment from now. If you ask the guy, please, when do you think we are settling down? Because my family is becoming restless. And he tells any moment from now. Critical thinker, don't accept that. Can we put some timelines to it? Maybe 3 months time, we do our savings and stuff like that. Because any moment from now, until we know how 6, you give birth to 6 for the month. It's still any moment from now. Soon. Your passport, come for it soon. Ask, please, can you tell me when? No, I say soon. Oh, don't worry. If you tell me to come 3 days time, maybe 4 a.m., 4 p.m., 6:12, I will come. That is it. Because soon is vague. So vagueness is not always like negative. It just shows that the thing is pregnant to several other things. That's why I used Jesus to show. I come soon. And Chemeba. And he's not in 2,000 years, and we don't know how many years extra. You just have to be ready for him. That's what he's telling you. Because soon, now I will come. So big boss, that definition you just given, if you ask me, I'll call it vague. It needs extra specificity because the government of the people, who are the people? By the people. When you say by the people, it doesn't mean we must do it. Every one of us must go to parliament. When will we sit to govern? When there's money to share, all of us must come and sit down and say, Ghana has 3 billion now. We're going to share. Then I say my own. Then my brother, you also say, I think we should give Nancy 10. Say, when will we finish talking? Because there are 30-something million of us. So by the people, I don't want to believe that he means that. Then for the people, for which people? Ghanaians, children, and so on and so forth. That's why I would think of it as vague. I take one more and I have to go.
Thank you.
One last question.
You are most welcome, sir.
Mackenzie.
So go ahead, Samson. I think it's Samson Yabua.
Yeah, madam.
Hey,
Please, I wanted,
yeah. Please go
madam,
ahead, sir.
Please, I wanted to ask. You were talking about the ostensive definition.
Ostensive.
Yeah, ostensive. Yeah, but it's not every demonstrating that, like, it's not every point that is being demonstrated. There are some things that you can point out, but you can't demonstrate it as.
But we didn't say whenever you give ostensive definition, you must both point to and demonstrate before it. No, we didn't say that. We are saying that when you want to give meanings to a word, you can do it several ways. Those are the types. One way of doing that is ostensive. And for ostensive definitions, you can do it in two different ways. You can point to give meanings, or you can do it to give meaning. So I can dance to show you Palugo, because you don't know what Palugo is. I can dance it to show you. Or I can point to people who are dancing Palugo and say, look at those people. What they are doing is Palugo. Both ways, I'm giving you the meaning of Palugo ostensively. Okay? Right.
Okay, man.
Let's take one more. You're welcome. Let's take one more question quickly.
Madam, please, I want to ask a question.
Who is speaking now? Now, the way I'm doing it, I won't be fair to those who are trying to keep to the rules. You see, I don't like that. Some people want to really ask, but they don't want to interrupt. So if you permit me to call a response, we have 11 hands, then we'll be able to make some good progress in a fair manner. You see that? Not survival of the fittest. So help me here. I just took Samson, your boy's question. So Samson, please put your hand down. Let me take George Messe Lebe. George, forgive me if I didn't pronounce your surname well. Let's take your question quickly.
Okay, my question is, talking about, you said the audio will be sent. Will it be on Sakai resource, or where can you get the audio, please?
I want to send it because I want to. I'm not obliged to. That's the first thing. So that you don't go and use my seeming liberal posturing to judge another colleague. Because the emphasis is on attending the live session. Just like you would attend your physical lecture, and you will not go and tell the lecturer that I came, I didn't understand some of the things, so come and say everything again. You can't do that. So here, it is a favor I want to do to the class to help them. There is tutorial, attend it and take questions. Tutorial is not a lecture. So when the lecturer, the tutor, the TA enters the link, it's 1 hour. Anybody has a question, raise your hand. Please, can you help me with examples of, let's say, narrow definitions to help my understanding? Then it's okay. Example this, example that. It's not there on the mandate to deliver content, specific content. It's there to help you understand what you have done already. Do you understand? I have come as a lecturer. I have to help you understand the concept. So I can take questions, but it cannot outweigh the content I came to deliver. Otherwise, you won't know anything. Maybe if I finish with the delivery, most of your questions perhaps will disappear. So we do it in an interspersed way. And you can see that all the time I take the full lecture time. And then I give you maybe 30 minutes or 40 minutes, 15 minutes, whatever of my time, and mop up questions, which is important. So the recording will be shared. Every resource shared to you is at your resource too. Every resource. If it's a resource, something resource means content to help you learn. We put it at the resource too. But because this time all of the groups are on one core site, you don't have independent rooms. You have to be careful what you are posting. Otherwise, by the time the students finish, they have recordings from 12 groups on just one topic, plus the proper content. How will you revise all? So we put it at the resource. The last time I put all my links, those are recorded live. Because my colleague said most of them didn't do any recording. They want students to attend the lecture and go. Like what back class now, that kind of thing. So the 4 that I have recorded, I put it on a document and share that resource too. So anybody, student who wants to play back is able to access it. It is there. All right. But I don't want students saying the recording was not put there in this, because that posture there is very annoying. Then we stop cry. If you come, you have come. If network goes back, take it that your pen didn't write at the exam. It's not the lecturer's issue. But we don't want to have that posture. Okay. Thank you, George. I think that will be beneficial to others.
Okay.
So I'll take.
Thank you very much.
Brima, you are welcome. Say Kasa. Hey, Kase, Brima. Go ahead.
Hello, madam.
Yes, my lady.
Madam, please, with the examples that you cited for the mass
for the
mathematical
5 +
truth.
1. Yes.
Yes,
For that
mathematical
one,
laws.
yes, please.
Yes.
I wanted to ask, a group of people can use different method or different.
They are not doing math. That's the issue. You are talking about well-defined terms, right?
Yes, please.
Yes. I can say that even number is my lady Brimer's new name. I can call you Kase, even number.
Yes.
I'm calling you that so that maybe my mother doesn't know that I have a girlfriend. Okay. It doesn't mean I'm doing math. I'm using the term even number, but not as the mathematician will use it. That's why as for even number in math, it's well defined. A group of people cannot have their own understanding of even number when they are doing math.
Okay.
That's the difference, yeah. But a group of people can have their own understanding of family, even in sociology, culture, democracy, even in politics, justice, even in law. That's the point. Okay.
Yes.
Very good.
Thank you.
You are welcome. Let me take Rahel Elenam.
Madam, please, I want to define the term and the word in my own terms. I want to ask if it's okay.
Send me
So
an
I'm
email.
saying narrow.
Okay. Send me an email of it. That way I can review. You know, if this side is this, I can do it that way for you. I've responded to all my. I don't have any outstanding email, unless it was sent just before I started my class. Okay. Let me see. You are welcome, Rabapa. I want to take the gentleman. Kingsley also. Actually, please, if you are done, can you put your hand up? There are 10 hands still up. We don't want to take new hands. Bear with me, Otherwise, I won't even give that space. When I get to 10, 20 per, then I'll log out. But I like to help. Some of the questions I use, others maybe you can even find out from the TV or something. So if you have it, then you value it and use it well. So drop the let me see the Uzu. I thought was why. Go on.
Madam, please, I wanted to ask that about the equivocation.
Yes.
Can it be only a word or like a statement?
So the equivocation is in how you are using it. So you can't be equivocal about a word. It has to be a passage, always.
Okay, so
Where the particular word is being repeated. So you see that there will be a repetition of a word, maybe once or twice or 3 times.
Yes, but maybe that word can be an idiomatic expression or something, but in a statement
it's not
form.
idiomatic expression at all. It is a word. Every word has a meaning, but what is making it equivocal is that you are repeatedly using that word in your argumentation or passage. But whenever you use it, you use another meaning of that same word. But because the word is the same, it is as if you are saying that same thing. That is the issue with equivocation. People should not argue. I say philosophers teach people how to argue, but it's strange that any course can be teaching people how to argue in a world like this. This is equivocal. I showed you, I projected.
Yes, please.
Philosophers teach people how to argue. This arguing is positive. Then the person builds on, but why should the course even attempt to teach people how to argue in a world that is full of dispute like this? The second use of arguing is what? Disputing, exchanging words, agitation, what have you. The first one is arguing, presenting evidence to support claims made. At the law court, what the lawyers do is to argue their case. Are they beating themselves there? No, it's positive. The one that can argue well wins the case. But when you go outside and husband and wife are talking, she likes arguing. She likes arguing. He's not saying that she likes presenting cases to. No, she says she likes disputing. Different use of the same word. This person speaking has put them together. And he's saying that the horse teaching people how to argue is already adding more pressure to a world that is full of disputes. Displaying his own ignorance. So that is equivocation. One word repeated in a passage. It can't be in a statement. It has to be repeated. And each time you see the word, a different meaning is at play. Well done.
Okay. Well understood. Happy New Month.
Thank you so much, my boss. The pressure. Okay, Emmanuel Jamina, let's take yours too. I think these are very brilliant questions. Amen. Go ahead, sir. Emmanuel Jamina.
Madam.
Yes, sir.
Yes, I just want to say thank you. That is it.
Oh, I appreciate that too. People don't know. I appreciate it too. Share. You pass your hobby. A little thank you, a little well done. Then we are encouraged. You see how many minutes I've added as it so. So thank you. I appreciate that a lot. So Jennifer Noy, please ask your question.
Mom, please, with the vague, I want
Yes.
you to kindly add one example so that I'll get it. I'll get
Okay.
it.
No problem. On my screen, I've already added. I'll just show you. Look at my screen. This was part of the examples I gave. I pulled all from your textbook. Okay. Look at religion is the those who do peace science. You may have seen it, or if you read wide, you know religion is the opium of the masses. Religion, if you don't know religion, it is the opium is a sedative, something you take in so that you will daze off. So it's like the blue, or what how do they call it? The tramadol. So religion, this is the singular, the plural of it. The singular will say the opium of the masses. Religion is the tramadol of the masses.
Okay.
You see, a person is defining religion, but look at what does that mean? It's not clear.
Yeah.
Why is it not clear? You can it's a symbolic use of now. It's the tramadol that the population take to get sedated from their actual problems until they wake up. When you wake up, you realize that this is what you've done. So it's symbolic use of language, as if he's defining religion. But he's using it to make when you speak that, we see quite we do vagueness in unit 3 proper.
Okay.
I have arranged my thing in a way that takes some of the units, some topics from some other units and put together. If you look at the course outline, you see. Okay, so you don't worry. What as we practice, we'll see. Now, just to add, when you use language indirectly, he has kicked the bucket. It is not good for a person to lick, no one can lick his elbow. All these are described as vague. They are intentionally vague. When your father tells you something proverbially, he doesn't want the other person to hear it directly. That is why. So they say a word to the wise is enough. So any proverbial, idiomatic, figurative use of language will be described as vague. We raise it as a problem here because we are trying to define. So if you want to make meaning and you are speaking in an intentionally vague way, it's like you are covering it so that people won't understand. This is definition. Okay. So we'll see more later. Okay.
Okay. Thank you,
Thank
madam.
you for that. You're welcome. I think we can. Oh, well done. There are 4 hands left. Hey, this class +1 for everybody. +1. Let me take the 4 left. That I can go and say, oh, Jennifer Crack so 3. Angel, go ahead. Angel, ask your question. We have 3 left. Angel, please, are you also gone? Angel and Melky. No. Mackenzie. Mackenzie. Mary Adekum part of answer to. Mackenzie. Mackenzie and 2 people left. Let's hurry. 231 people are still waiting. You don't want to log out. And it's amazing. Go ahead, Mackenzie.
Hello, madam.
Yes.
Yes. Please, I wanted to know where I can classify a situation where somebody makes a statement like, for instance, in a corporate session, like if I work for somebody and I have a problem at work, and they make a statement like, oh, the HR is always open to you, but then it might end up hurting me, speaking of my problems at work, as in they might sack me, something like that. Where would I classify it?
The HR will do what? Say it that way. I want to know if it's a definition.
For instance, they make statement like, oh, if you have any problem, our doors are opened.
Our doors are open. Do you realize that it's symbolic? It's symbolic. It's not a direct use of language because all doors in the offices will be closed. If you are going to say close the door behind you, but our doors are open is to say that we are accessible. You can always come with your issues. So it stands for something. I think when we do unit 3, where we look at metaphors, our lecturer is a flower. Our president is a lion. My mother is a whatever. They are symbolic use of language. So there can be figure of speech, there can be idioms. He has kicked the bucket. The hen also knows when the sun rises, but it is the cock that crows. All those are symbolic use of language. You can find a place for expressions like our doors are open. Okay, it's not a direct use of language. So it's a figurative. That's what I think in your unit you are advised to bracket them, metaphorical language, etc. Like I've mentioned. Treat them differently. Don't interpret them literally. Otherwise, you make a mistake. So our doors are open doesn't mean, I'm sure you know that already, physical. A symbolic use. That will be in Unit 3 when we engage.
Okay, thank you very much. Hey, what's with my neighbor?
The brother whose ID is there. I said don't do ID. So Josephine, Dan Ofori, and Mary, please understand me, okay? I gave enough time and I really have to go now. So I'll be rested for the next class. I have another class. Send
Okay,
all
thank
your
you,
questions to me. Thank you too.
Thank you, madam. Thank you, madam.
I'm glad to help you. Okay, let's pause our recording now. We are about 3 hours. Thank you always. All the best and take care. Yeah,
Thank you, Dr. Nancy.
Thank you, my boy. Thank you, my sir, ma'am.